available for people, and the librarians have been so helpful too. I'm going to read, in 2017, my book, Truth Be Bold, Serenading Life and Death in the Age of AIDS came out. And with 2 years of promoting that book, it gave me the courage to begin to write my memoir. And the working title is Forging Survival of Babe with AIDS. And I'm going to read a prologue and a little bit into the first chapter in my 8 minutes. So, slight warning, the first chapter is has to do with sex addiction. All the children have left the room, so that makes me smile and happy. So prologue is titled Fatal Attraction. And how do you know where you start and end if it's not against a body in the dark is the epigraph, and it's from Jan Beatty's book, American Bastard. I made a bad decision, one of the many, but this one changed my life. After my coworker Wendy broke up with Kirk, he and I had a rare occurrence, a late night phone call. On the phone, I felt myself sucked into wanting, the yearning to feel wanted. We talked at least 2 hours, wandering, sinking deeper into my body, his words heavy and hypnotic. What did we even talk about for so long? Mostly, it was about our common person, Wendy. Cute artist, Wendy, adorable. They went together. She so slick in black tights, long white skirts, her black hair in a short, sharp cut. I helped get her hired, knew she could do the work and had a crush on her from the moment she walked in the door for the interview. Her laughter opened the air in the warehouse off the West Side Highway. She knew what the little glass vials with colorful caps were. They lined the sides of the gutter, cracked. She knew the vans outside were there to help the prostitutes. Looking out the window with Wendy was an education. And here we were both missing her. She'd moved on to some other guy. We were her aftermath. And he was praising me in a way I longed to hear. You're an artist too. But how did he know what kind of artist I was? You brought her to do that mural. Yes, I wanted to be close to her. His words, like sugar, melting me. His art in a gallery, horses. He painted horses. He was handsome. I really shouldn't have given him my address, but he asked. It was too hard to say no. Still, I wasn't thinking I would really have sex, or was I? How did I ever say no when the impulse was there? All that stirred up body energy, wanting. I was working on what I had called my sex addiction. I'd been the one to ask for an open relationship with Blaze. I'd set myself up to not be faithful. What did I even know about this man who had traveled to see me in the middle of the night, to see me? He'd met Wendy on the street and wouldn't let her go till he got her number. He was a charmer. She told me he'd been in prison. I knew he lived with another woman, knew he was trouble, but I'd be leaving town in less than 3 months, starting my life over, breaking my sex and pot compulsion in a new city. When he arrived, we smoked a joint and sat on the couch a long time, our fingers touching, shocks going through my body. I had time to justify one last fling in New York City. It was too rare an occurrence, both of us partnered but alone. Only one problem, neither of us had a condom. When I brought up HIV, he said, I test negative every 6 months. I would never give a disease to any woman. Drawing back but leaving his fingertips connected to mine. Didn't prisons run regular tests? Wouldn't he know if he were positive? What I didn't question was his honesty. What I didn't hold was my agreement with Blaze to have safer sex when we had sex outside the relationship. It was too easy to be that unreliable partner. that one who wants freedom to follow sensation, despite the red flags. Chapter 1, and then I'll read two small sections of it. What I knew about HIV/AIDS. And this has an epigraph too. Not every chapter does, but the true message of the AIDS crisis is that making people with power accountable works. Sarah Schulman, The Gentrification of the Mind, Witness to a Lost Generation. AIDS in the air. At the time, I believed I understood the risks. Before I moved to Seattle, I was aware of HIV and AIDS. It was rampant in New York, and my gay friends were worried. Friends talked about the gay cancer. Our friend Stephen, a blonde bisexual actor Blaze knew from his neurolinguistic programming training, was unsettled. He called me to talk about a blister on his skin. The early gay cancer, Kaposi sarcoma, was spreading. Any skin marks were suspect. One of my lesbian friends wrote articles for a gay newspaper. When she heard a public health report that a lesbian had HIV, the news shocked her. People were talking about this new disease, trying to learn as much as possible. My only ACT UP meeting. ACT UP meetings were every Monday night at the Gay and Lesbian Center on West 13th Street, practically around the corner in Blaze's West Village neighborhood. He attended a few Monday night ACT UP meetings and admired their organizational skills. He was interested in how groups work to change policy, and AIDS was the biggest issue of our times, so he was compelled to be there firsthand. Of course I went once. It was an intense roil that overwhelmed my system. The intensity ran high and sent chills through me to hear the rush of angst in the room. Everyone was angry at our government. Arms raised, shaking fists in the air, wanting to speak. Voices broke out in shouts before they were called on. The frenetic energy was thick, suffocating. All around me, a frantic need for change and multiple actions. Groups broke away from the crowd to plan protests. I felt like a baby wolf in a cave, committed to the cause, but not the group. Thank you.